Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Brian Joyce, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for a review and technical levels to watch in a number of asset classes, including the Nasdaq-100. And Brian, it seems like it's a little bit quiet this week, certainly into the Wednesday FOMC meeting in Bank of Japan on Friday. What do you think is probably going to be the most sensitive? What asset class most sensitive to what happens on Wednesday?
Well, I think interest rates look very interesting right here for the last 6 weeks. This is the 6th week, the start of the 6th week, where the long 10-year yield has been trading around 4.35%, which is a couple of dips from where the high was in October of 2022. So now we pulled back about 110 basis points over the last 12 months. And we're now revisiting that October 22 high, and we're in a consolidating sideways for 6 weeks right along it. So I think if there is any sort of commentary that is, maybe, I don't know if it would be dovish or hawkish, to be honest with you. Sometimes the market just reacts in ways you don't expect, but the ETF, the long yield itself certainly looks like it's setting up for a breakout to the upside.
Yeah, let's talk about a couple sectors that are especially sensitive to what happens in the interest rate environment. Of course, the banks and home building.
Yeah, so right here we're now looking at the home builder index, ITB, the ETF for the home builder index, and we can see it's looking very little toppy here. You got potentially a left shoulder head and right shoulder with this key support at that 81.15 level. We tested it on Friday and again today, 2 weeks ago as well. So I think the market is telling us that this is an important level. So that the traditional viewpoint from this pattern is that it's a topping pattern, but it can certainly be a continuation pattern as well. I do think that if interest rates spike higher, and this is the setup in the interest rates right here, we could see that just today we tested the recent summer highs up at 4.36%. And as I noted, if you go back the last 12 months, you could see that 5-6 weeks here consolidating just below it. If this were to break out to the upside, I think that would be a significant headwind for home builders, and we're talking about for banks as well. Rates go higher, bond prices go lower, so these security portfolios and many of the banks, which was the headwind that many of them faced in the beginning of mid-March of this year, I think that could be a increasing concern again. Certainly a fundamental headwind as we're about 1 month away from the end of earnings season.
Right. And of course, let's cover the semis here and Taiwan semi. There's some news coming out of Reuters on Friday.
Yeah, so on Reuters on Friday reported that Taiwan Semi is asking its suppliers to slow down deliveries about over concerns of demand. So we saw the SOX index declined 3% on Friday. We can see it's broken this uptrend here going back to October of 2022. And I think the key support level here for the SOX index is around 34.17, 34.18. And more importantly, SOX and semis have been, one of the main drivers of the marketplace this year. NVIDIA is in here as well. So if we do see a meaningful turnaround in this industry, I think that would be, a significant headwind for the broader indices, which have been relatively narrow for much of this year. We did see improving breadth back in June and July, even maybe as early as May. But before that, the leadership this year, the performance this year really was driven by the Magnificent Seven, relatively select few number of companies. So if we see an industry like semis, turning around and maybe about to enter a deeper period of consolidation, that's a big if. I'll have to wait and see if that breakdown actually takes place. But I do think that would be, a meaningful headwind for the broader averages.
All right. Appreciate the insight as always, Brian. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.